Thank you everybody for joining us for another one of our chats with some of the Barbados SEO speakers. And today we've got Andriy Terentyev. He's one of our speakers. He's going to be talking specifically about SEO in travel. He has a lot of experience. So thank you very much for joining us, Andriy.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, so we're going to get started from the beginning. How did you get started in the SEO industry? What's your background?
Well, I have quite a diverse background. Before I joined the SEO industry, basically I worked in startups in every single C-level role, including SEO, CTO, COO, CIO, and name it, So, and I started basically with my entrepreneurial journey right out of right after college, So it's a good 15 plus years. And actually, I started doing SEO more heavily starting from 2011 when I joined HotelScan. It's a startup, was funded by a few venture funds. And I started with basically first consumer project. It was a like hotel meta search, which I managed. And we had quite a sizable SEO team. So that's how I got involved.
Mm-hmm. You said you started in the travel industry. Have you always been in the travel industry?
Well, in and out. I've been to many different industries, but I started with the first hotel booking website back in 2000. It was the first website in Ukraine that was allowing people to book hotels online. This is how I got into travel.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I also had quite a few travel-related projects. But honestly, I've been to probably like dozens of different industries, and it actually enriches my background in terms of understanding various aspects and things that how the things are working. So I've been into IoT, I've been to crypto space, I've been to fintech. Just to name a few, but there are quite a lot of other industries that I was involved.
Yeah. So how has the industry changed from when you started until now? Is it very different, or you haven't noticed many changes?
Well, it's a completely different game. When I started in 2000, when there was like a first internet boom era, with it was completely different. You could rank a website by just stuffing some keywords on the page, and that's it, and adding a few links. But now it's quite different.
Is it more complex now, or is it easier for people to get started in SEO if anyone is interested?
Oh, absolutely. It's getting more and more complex, and after the AI era, now with the ChatGPT, it's probably going to be even more complex, because now in order to be successful in SEO, you need to also know a lot of other things besides just the SEO ranking factors and all that. So it's not only the technology, but also semantics, library science, data management, artificial intelligence, machine learning, name a few. But there are a lot of other things that actually I think now it's the era of the well-rounded SEO specialists who know not only their own subject, but also are aware of all the other aspects that are around it. Not only technology, but also a lot of other things, including Indian philosophy.
Yeah. Do you think the eruption of AI for the mass audiences, because AI has been there for a long time, it's only that people are more aware of it these days. Do you think that is the biggest challenge that the SEO industry is facing?
I believe so. It's going to be a game changer, not only for SEO but also for the whole world. Because of the changes that are so drastic, they're so encompassing that it's just impossible to handle.
Yeah, and I know what you mean. Did you think things were going to move so fast in that aspect?
Honestly, I could not expect that.
Yeah.
I was thinking that Google will take a few years to launch its own equivalent of OpenAI, and it'll be just a slow progression. But actually, it's quite exciting to see this change, this level of change.
You were mentioning that you're Ukrainian. You started your career in Ukraine. I know full well that there's a lot of really great talent coming from Ukraine in the SEO industry. Do you think there is something in the country that makes people have this sort of mindset, and that it's being nurtured the industry, and there are so many entrepreneurs and so many companies coming out of it?
Well, I think whenever the people are under stress, they look for solutions to reduce the stress. And for us, for Ukrainians, because we face the stress every day, whether you are in Ukraine or you are outside of Ukraine, like just an example, like 20 days out of 30, Ukraine has been bombed during the May, So like every night you hear the sirens and you need to go to the basement, including the children, the families. You can imagine how much stress they are handling right now. And even if you are outside of the country, you are worried about your friends and family and your work and everything else. So this stress is so encompassing. And when you are dealing with stress, people are dealing with this in various different ways. And Ukrainians tend to deal with stress by working, by working on something that they can control rather than something that they cannot control. And for us, coming up with new ideas, new businesses, like working on new ventures, it's a way to deal with it, And I think that's why one of the biggest drivers for us is actually this war that has spawned so many new startups in military tech, in IT, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. What are the best and the worst things in the SEO industry that you can think of, in your opinion?
Well, this is a really hard question. I don't know, like, what are the good and bad things. Let me think for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I think the good thing is the fact that SEO is becoming more and more important for the companies. So if you are not working on this on your organic strategy, you are losing in other strategies like SEM, for example, because now it's becoming more and more intertwined. And the same thing about social media and other acquisition channels. So I think now is the era where the SEO cannot be ignored. Because it's becoming an intricate part, intertwined with all the other aspects of the business strategy, and I think it's good. And the bad thing is that the SEO is becoming more and more complex, and it's not that easy as it was before. And as years will come forward, the complexity will even grow, and it will become even more harder. So that's why I think we all need to upgrade our knowledge and visit conferences like Barbados SEO.
Yeah. If you could give a tip to anyone wanting, like a young person, well, young or not so young, someone who wants to start a career in SEO, what would you tell them? What sort of tip would you give them?
Well, find someone who excites you, or as a specialist to work with, and just try to work with this person for any sort of money you can find, like even free, just to learn and observe and learn. Because I think the best way to learn is like children. Like children, they are not learning in school; they are learning from adults, from parents, from their surrounding. So just surround yourself with talents, and you naturally will learn.
And talking about people who inspire you in the industry, Is there anyone in the industry that inspires you like every day, like that you can shout out at like more than one person? I'm sure there's plenty.
Yeah, there's so many. But I think the one that really excites me at this moment is Koray Gabor, because currently he launched the Topical Authority SEO course, which I really admire. I think this is the best thing that happened in the SEO industry the last 10 years. This is a game changer. The way he shifts the mindset of the SEO specialists is truly amazing. So I'd really recommend everyone to go and look at his articles and his case studies.
And what is the go? Do you have any tools or resources that you cannot live without for your day-to-day work?
Well, one of the really good resources is AdverTools, the Python library. So you probably heard about it. Now, the Python and programmatic SEO is a way to go, because without it, you could not really handle the large amount of data, and the amount of data is increasing every day. So, even for smaller projects, you have to do a lot of Python work.
Mm-hmm. And what's your favorite thing in your day-to-day in your job? What's the task that you enjoy the most doing?
Well, the things that I enjoy the most is, and probably the hardest thing as well, is the prioritization. Yeah. Even though it's strategy and prioritization, these two things go very, very much closer together. So now, especially when you're doing the complex enterprise SEO or even like small entrepreneurial team, you always have to prioritize. It's not a monthly exercise; it's a daily exercise. It has to be done as a team. And it involves a lot of communication, a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and involvement of everyone. So I think the fact that the proper prioritization is actually a big success factor for any sort of SEO professional, and just the sport needs to be played as a team.
Yeah. And now that we're talking about this, like, what's your proudest achievement that you've achieved at work?
Well, I guess given the topic of my speech is
your pitch.
The thing that I did at Kiwi.com, and I think just driving a huge website from, let's say, level 0 in terms of non-branded traffic to a few millions of visitors per month, it's something that didn't happen easily. So, and I'm really proud of this success story.
I'm talking about that. That's going to be the talk that you're going to be giving at Barbados SEO in November 2023.
Absolutely.
What are you expecting from the conference? Because, you know, some of the people that I've spoken to, they've either been to the conference or they know the people who has been. Like, what are your expectations for Barbados SEO?
Very hard to say. I mean, honestly, I think the best way is not to have any expectations, because honestly, it's going to be my first speech at a big SEO conference, and I'm very excited about it. And I try not to be overexcited, and just to stay calm and make sure that I'll do the best job and transfer as much of my knowledge and experience to the people who will listen to me as I can.
Oh, that's amazing. So this is going to be like your first big conference, you say? But
is this correct?
Yeah. And of all the conferences you've been to, I'm sure that you've been to a few, with so many years in the industry. Which one do you think is the one that's leading the way, and that, like, you know, people should sort of like follow, and, you know, people should go to if you just had to pick one?
Oh, well, probably Brighton.
Brighton SEO. Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I think that's kind of like it. Like, I have got one more question, which is like, what do you think are the most important skills for anyone working in marketing SEO? What makes a good SEO person?
Well, I think just the communication skills, the soft skills right now are becoming more and more important, because SEO is becoming so complex that you cannot be, even if you know like you're like very skilled SEO specialist in terms of like technical SEO or link building, if you are not able to communicate well, and if you are not able to, let's say, convey your ideas, get organize the team working about it, evangelize your ideas, and convince others, it's going to be very hard to be successful in this field now.
You were mentioning before that, SEO is getting more and more important, and it's going to be more important in the future because, again, if you don't invest in it, you're losing out on a lot of opportunities. Why do you think it's still difficult for every single person who works in SEO to convince the leadership and all the big bosses to invest in it?
I guess it's not about the difficulty. I think the difficulty comes from the lack of business mindset. Every single SEO has to be a little bit of entrepreneur, and have this entrepreneurial attitude or entrepreneurial way of thinking. Without this way of thinking, it's very hard to speak to the senior management and to make sure that you're with them on the same wave.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. And just like lastly, like, what do you say to someone who is on the fence and still thinking about coming to Barbados SEO? Because we're fully aware that Barbados is not around the corner. It's a long flight.
It is. I was checking the flight tickets and I thought, wow, that's going to be an interesting journey.
Yeah.
But honestly, I love flying. I mean, it's one of the things that I really enjoy. So the thing that I would say is that in order to work well, you also need to relax at some point, and I think just going to some unique exotic location like Barbados to visit an SEO, to go into SEO conference, it's just the best of the two worlds. You get the best speakers, the great speakers, great team, and with the combination of, let's say, having a few days to relax and enjoy the beautiful beaches and sun, together with learning. What can you find better than that?
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Andriy. Like, it's been really nice chatting to you.